there, welcome to Cultivate. Happy 420. I'm Rochelle, cannabis copywriter here at Boveda, and I am super psyched to have Mary Bailey, co-founder of Last Prisoner Project, joining me today. How's it going, Mary?
Hey, lady. It's great to be here. I'm so stoked to be celebrating 420 with you.
Oh, same. It's amazing. It's a beautiful day.
It really is.
It's the best day. Let's jump right into it and let's talk about Last Prisoner Project, an incredible organization in the cannabis industry, something that the team at Boveda we really support. We've talked about it before, but for those who don't know out there, maybe you could tell us a little bit about Last Prisoner Project and what they do.
Yeah, I'd love to talk about LPP and the work that we do. First of all, I want to say that today's 420 and everybody around the country is celebrating our freedom to engage in cannabis activities. And I think it's really important that we all take a moment today to think about our brothers and sisters who are incarcerated for cannabis today. They do not have their freedom to smoke today like all of us. And, you know, there are still over 40,000 people in America incarcerated for cannabis. So let's definitely remember them.
Yes, thank you so much for saying that, because I think we lose sight, especially in a new era of legalization, that there are still so many people who are suffering irreparable damage because of the criminalization of cannabis, including still being in jail for cannabis crimes that are not even crimes anymore in so many states. So maybe you could talk a little bit about Last Prisoner Project and how you're helping to free people who are still incarcerated for cannabis and helping them once they've arrived home.
Absolutely. So we are a group of individuals coming from the cannabis industry. We also have a ton of artists that we work with. But all of us feel a moral imperative. And we think that anybody who's able to build wealth in the cannabis industry, the legal cannabis industry, that we should all work together and we should all feel a moral imperative to help people who have been negatively impacted by the criminalization of cannabis, specifically those who are still incarcerated. So we as an organization, we work towards release efforts, both at a state level and federal level, for people who are currently incarcerated for cannabis. And again, that number is at around 40,000 people. And, but, you know, it's a pretty heavy subject, but the one positive thing is that the work is working. People are starting to get released slowly but surely. And so it's something that we really take seriously, that we have to educate the public, because a lot of people assume that when states go fully legal, that people are automatically released. And that's generally not the case. And so we really do have to remind people that this is an important issue that we all have to be aware of, and we all have to make sure that our leaders know that we want policy change and reform. So we also understand we can't just get people out of prison and expect their lives to go back to normal. It doesn't work like that. Having a felony on your record, it makes just barriers to entry. It's so difficult. And it's really also important that we look at, I think of anybody who has been incarcerated for cannabis, I feel really strongly that these people are the pioneers of our booming industry. So we all have to work together to lower their barriers to entry into the legal cannabis industry. And so we know that getting people out of prison, that's only half the job. Getting their lives back on track, it really takes a lot of work. So we do have reentry resources for people who have been in prison for cannabis, help them get back on their feet. We've got micro grants, financial assistance. We also have partnered with some really incredible educators in the cannabis space, making sure people are set up for success. We work with Oaksterdam University, Green Flower Media, Academy of Cannabis Science. So there's a lot to go into.
No, that's fantastic. You're doing so many phenomenal things at this organization. And I think it might surprise people to know that in a lot of legal states, people with felonies on their record, including cannabis felonies, may not even be able to participate in the industry. So is that something that LPP is working toward to help kind of change those policies that are in place and advocate for more equitable policy in states that are coming online?
Absolutely. And you're so right. And it's so funny, but it depends on what state, not only what state, but what county you're in certain states on what the laws are. And then it also depends on the actual probation officer on what they're really going to allow these participants to enter the legal cannabis industry. So there's a lot of moving pieces, but we absolutely want to advocate for change and lowering those barriers to entry within the legal cannabis industry for people who are interested. But one thing to remember is there are so many different ancillary services, ancillary companies within the industry, and all of those companies can absolutely hire formerly incarcerated individuals. And we do have a job board with Last Prisoner Project. So any amazing cannabis companies out there who do want to hire and offer employment for people who have been negatively impacted by the criminalization of cannabis in the past can reach out to us. They can let us know what their employment opportunities are, and we will add them to our job board.
Absolutely. Yes. Great shout out for all the ancillary companies out there. You don't have to touch the plant to be involved with the plant. That is absolutely true. Now, you've had a lot of really great successes. Obviously, there's still a lot of work to do with LPP, but I know that one great success story is Michael Thompson, one of the longest serving cannabis prisoners, recently was released thanks to LPP, the hard work of so many different people as well. And he recently had a birthday yesterday, right? His first birthday since being released. So maybe you could talk about him and his story a little bit, please.
Absolutely. As soon as you said his name, I got a little tear to my eye. He holds a dear place in my heart. He's such a great guy. So backing up a little bit, Michael Thompson was a concert promoter in the city of Flint, Michigan. He also worked with troubled youth in the area. He helped bring gang members together to help them befriend each other in order to lower the violence in his area. He even won an award from the NAACP for his work with troubled youth. Now, Michael ended up selling 3 pounds of cannabis to a police informant. And for that charge, he ended up getting a 40 to 60 year sentence. Now, Michael was just released this past February after serving 25 years in prison for that charge. And he kept doing the work. He kept holding a vision of regaining his freedom, and it finally happened. Big shout out and thanks to so many incredible supporters across the country. Tons of celebrities were involved, posting on their socials with a call to action for supporters to call and email the Michigan Department of Corrections and Governor Whitmer's office. And over 200,000 people heard that call and acted. And we were able to finally get a commutation from Governor Whitmer. I will say that after the commutation was released, he was still in prison for another 7 weeks before he was actually released, which is very disappointing. But positivity, he is now free, working with the activist Sean King. Sean King helped Michael's GoFundMe campaign go viral, and it raised enough money to buy Michael his own house in Flint, Michigan. It was able, he just bought a new truck to drive around. He just got his driver's license, and he just yesterday celebrated his 70th birthday. And I just am so honored to be friends with Michael. It's such a joy to watch him thrive with his newfound freedom. And if you want to, you can follow him on social media. He already has over 6,000 followers on his socials. It's MT Free 2021. And you can find Michael Thompson on Instagram.
Definitely make sure to follow, because I mean, it's such an incredible journey, and it's heartbreaking yet inspiring at the same time, mostly to know that there is hope for so many of the other people who are still incarcerated. So just an incredible story.
Absolutely. And he's just such a bright, shining light. He now regained his freedom. His mission in life is to help other people who are still incarcerated. And he uses his platform and uses his voice to spread the word about prison reform. And he's already working within the legal cannabis industry. He works for a company called You Baked. He's a brand ambassador. They're based in Burton, Michigan. they've been incredibly supportive. Even his grandson was also hired by the company, so they get to work together, which is a really beautiful thing.
Oh my gosh, I love that. That is so incredible. Oh, I'm like starting to get misty myself just thinking about it. So awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I know that LPP has a lot of different things going on at once, but it sounds like one thing that you're really focused on is A Time to Heal, the current campaign. Would you talk a little bit about that, please?
Yeah, absolutely. So A Time to Heal is a federal clemency campaign that we're working on. You can learn more either on the Last Prisoner Project website, or we have a specific website just for this campaign. It's cannabisclemency.org. And basically, we're calling upon the Biden administration to do mass pardons, mass releases for these cannabis prisoners at the federal level. These are these are victimless crimes, nonviolent offenders. Throughout history, many presidents did mass pardons. This used to happen much more often, and it's just the last several presidents for the last couple of they haven't been doing this, but they have the capability of doing it. And so we are really calling upon the Biden administration to move forward. Our big call to action is we have a petition. We would love for you to go to our website to sign the petition. If you go to lastprisonerproject.org, scroll down on our homepage, you will see the A Time to Heal campaign, really easy to sign. Or you can go to our social media, Last Prisoner Project on Instagram, go to the link in the bio. That's another really simple place to go ahead and sign that petition. If you're not following us on socials, go ahead and follow us. One of the biggest positive impacts that's really simple that people can do is following us on social media. And then any post that really resonate with you, share them on your page, because that's a way for you to educate your followers and really educate your own network. And that, awareness just spreads far and wide.
Absolutely. Great advice. It's so easy to share, comment, engage that way. And it really has a bigger impact than I think most people even realize. So super great advice. In addition to that, how else can people get involved with LPP? How can people advocate for the people who are still incarcerated, people who've had their lives affected by the criminalization of cannabis?
Well, there's one way that I've really been suggesting for people to get involved. And it's something is our being a pen pal. Join our letter writing campaign, because people who are in prison, it is a very lonely place. It was lonely before COVID, but now that this pandemic has really affected people who are incarcerated, they do not receive visitors from their family, their friends, their loved ones. They're on lockdown much of the time. Now, that means when you're on lockdown, means you're only allowed to leave your cell a very limited amount of time. Sometimes you're not allowed to leave your cell at all. It depends on the facility. It depends on how dangerous the facilities are. There is a facility in Louisiana, and I work with a couple prisoners who are there, and it's a very dangerous place. And anytime anything happens there, they go on lockdown, and sometimes they go on lockdown for weeks. So we suggest for people to send snail mail letters. We have a very robust prison letter writing guide on our website. So if you go to the Get Involved, Take Action page on the lastprisonerproject.org website, you can find a directory, and it walks you through the process. It's, you can write to them about your favorite sports teams, or share information about your own experience or your life. And it's just a way for them to know that they have not been forgotten, that there are people on the outside fighting for their freedom, and a way to really give them hope. And that's what everybody needs. And I will say that all of the prisoners that I work closely with who have been released over the last couple months, they keep telling me time and time again, they're like, those letters helped me keep going. They helped me hold the faith and know that there are people on the outside thinking of me, fighting for me. And so literally it could take you 5 minutes to write a letter and the cost of a stamp. And I can't tell you how incredibly impactful that is. And so it's something we've been working on with a couple different companies, and even some celebrity ambassadors, kind of like the band Dispatch and Revolution. But we're doing virtual letter writing sessions where guests and supporters and fans can come online to a Zoom call, and we talk about letter writing, and then everybody just takes a couple minutes during the call to write their letter and send it. And that way we can kind of make it a team exercise and really normalize communicating to people who have been incarcerated for cannabis or are incarcerated for cannabis.
Absolutely. No, it sounds like a really great way and a simple yet really, really impactful way to get involved and to touch some lives that, maybe feel forgotten or have been forgotten in our society. And so I think that's a fantastic way to get involved. So in addition to the letter writing campaigns, following you on social, signing the petition, advocating for in local policy, what if people want to donate to LPP? How do people do that?
It's so easy. Just go to our website, lastprisonerproject.org. There's a donate button at the top. We greatly appreciate any financial support you're able to share. There's also information. We have our annual report is located on our website. So if you're curious about how the funding gets spent, where does the money go? We have information about that in our annual report. So please learn more. If you're looking to connect with Last Prisoner Project, send us an email. Our info at lastprisonerproject.org. Reach out to us. Let us know that you want to get involved, and we will plug you in as best we can.
Awesome. Thank you so, so much. Mary Bailey, co-founder of Last Prisoner Project, lastprisonerproject.org. Make sure to check them out. Thank you so much for being here. And again, happy 420. And thank you for all the incredible work that you've been doing to help the people who have had their lives irreparably changed by the war on drugs.
Thank you so much for hosting me. I really appreciate you letting me share information with the public about this. And, we're all going to work together and really visualize a more equitable future for everybody. So thanks again. Happy 420.
Thanks. Same to you. Talk to you soon.